always said beauty from the inside and beauty from the outside and so on. I think we have really achieved this with this particular device. And importantly, frankly, if Nu Skin had not decided to launch and take this product to the market, I think I would have taken this product out or this device out and be able to successfully launch another company just on this product alone. That's the game-changing type of product I think we have in Wellspa. As you all know, when we developed all the previous devices to become this #1 world beauty device systems brand in the world, and not just in our direct selling channel, but overall in the skincare industry, I think that those engineering development that we did with those devices also will actually taught us a lot of things. But I've always wondered, right, that, gee, up to this point, we have been focusing on skin, but surely we can think of making or developing a device that while we are manipulating in a way the skin, it should be able to deliver some internal benefits as well. That's the question that we've been asking, right? And as you can imagine, previously with ageLOC, we asked the question, really, as we get older, do we really have to lose our quality of life? And that was the basis and premise behind the ageLOC approach. Here, the question we are asking is, skin is part and parcel of the whole body. If we are doing something good on the skin, surely that should translate to something good inside the body as well. And that's really where I believe this device answers that particular question. So let me go through some of that. So let me go through some of the science. This is the insight that is really important and what led us to this particular device. I'm showing you a schematic of a system, a circulatory system that is called a lymphatic system. That's the one that's shown here in green. It's very extensive. It sort of circulates to every part of our body. And if you look at it carefully, I put in here the rate on the rate. That is the blood circulation system. All right. And obviously the biggest difference you notice between the lymphatic system and the blood circulation system is the fact that the blood can circulate no matter whether you're standing up, lying down, sitting down, or whatever, because it has a pump. And this pump, we call it the heart, right? We all know that if your heart, which is the pump, if it stops pumping, there's no blood circulation, and essentially, the whole body collapses. So that's essentially what they call a heart attack. By contrast, on the other side, the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. So it has no heart equivalent or nothing. It purely circulates through gravity. All right? It has to move it only moves in one direction, and that is towards the chest area, around this area here. Because there are two reservoirs here where all the fluid around the body, eventually they have to arrive in these two reservoirs, which then ultimately gets delivered into the kidneys and so on, and then they get excreted. So that's the two major systems. And it has been ignored quite a bit up to this point, but when you look at this circulatory system, it's 3 times larger than the blood circulation. So we're beginning to understand it plays a very important role. And what is the role? The role is, simply put, it's about purifying the body. This is about removing all the waste products that are being produced by all the different tissues in the body. And because when we metabolize or when we are active and so on, waste products are being produced. Very simply put, it's very similar to a car. We put gas into the car, But obviously, the gas is not 100% converted to mechanical energy to drive the wheels. It's only about 90% efficient, if you will. And that's the reason the 10% is actually results in some waste product, the gas, the exhaust. And that's why you have two tailpipes at the back of your car to get rid of those waste products produced when you're driving your car. The body is very similar. So this lymphatic system, if you will, is sort of a garbage collection system. It takes all the waste and everything, and it removes it, debris that is being produced, importantly, toxins, they all get excreted. At the same time, it is also a transport system for getting certain micronutrients, such as the nutrients that we have in Life Pack and so on. They are also being delivered through this particular transport system to all the different cells in the body. And then the third one is about fluid. So let me give you a visual. Many of you, I'm sure, have been on long flights, whether you're back to Hong Kong or vice versa, coming over the US and so on. And you notice that if you had taken your shoes off from your feet, and then just before you land, you try to put your shoes back on, it's a bit more difficult because your feet have swollen. And the reason for that swelling is because of the fluid accumulation, because the lymphatic system has stopped working efficiently while you're sitting down there for 6 hours. So very useful, this lymphatic system. If it's not performing optimally, you are unable to perform many of the important functions inside the body. And finally, it's also an important aspect of the immune system because it also tries to move the immune cells all over the body, especially to particular sites or areas of the body that requires the more immune cells to fight against, for example, infection. So it's a very, very important highway network in the body. So altogether, it comes down to, it helps to ensure that your body is pure and clean of toxin. Now, because it doesn't have a pump, it really relies on gravity and also on muscle contraction to move. If you remember, I said there's only one direction, the lymph. Unlike blood goes, to and fro, right? The veins will deliver the blood back to the lungs to get the oxygen and so on, and then it gets to the arteries, oxygenated blood to go to the tissues. The lymphatic system doesn't do that. It only moves fluid, like I said, towards the chest area. And that movement is very much related to the contraction of your muscle. Now, perhaps you see why when you're sitting down for 6 hours or so, your lymphatic system doesn't work because there's no muscle contraction. So everything slows down. The fluid in the lymph doesn't move through the vessels, so it doesn't have a chance to go back to the chest area and get excreted. So they pull or they stay down in your ankles, and that's why you get swollen. So typically, that's the only way you can move the lymph muscle. This is important because what I'm showing you is that, when you look at our lifestyle, right, what do? Most of the time now, we're going to sit here for an hour at least listening to me telling you about Wellspa. And there are other things you might be getting on, looking at our Facebook. There's a lot of sedentary or sitting down, lack of exercise activities that we do. Okay, I already mentioned if you're on a flight, again, 6 hours sitting doing nothing, and similarly in cars and trains and so on. Particularly even at home, you'll be sitting in front of a television watching a particular show, and it's really lack of activity that once again contribute to a very inefficient lymphatic system. That means, in a way, when you don't contract the muscle, your lymphatic system doesn't work. So our modern lifestyle needs something to help the lymphatic system work better. So what is that one thing? We believe that we have developed this device that we call the Wellspa that is going to accomplish that. All right, that's the science. We have done all the science. We believe with this particular device, we can help to move the lymphatic system and also at the same time be able to deliver skin benefits as well. That's the exciting bit. So let me go through. There are three things that we have developed that is unique in Nu Skin, and these features are not found in any of the other devices out in the marketplace. All right. The first feature is the design of this particular device. And I'll go into that a little bit, but that design took many years of the engineering time to come to that particular design. I would call it like an ergonomic design because it's easy to handle. Many of you have already used the previous galvanic spa, right? So what I find practically, even when I use it, it's a bit of a challenge holding on to it because after all, you still have to use a gel. And when you use a gel and have it moving all over your face, it invariably, some of the gel will get onto your fingers and it makes the whole thing slippery. So not a very good design, frankly, on the galvanic spa, but nonetheless, we learn a lot from that, how to make a better design so that you can grip it better. And I'll show you the actual contact with the skin. It's also another engineering design that has been optimized. Then secondly, I'll talk about the microcurrent technology. This is this different microcurrent technology from the galvanic spa. It's very different. We learned from it, but we have used an entirely new one because we want to achieve something different. And then finally, the gels. I'll talk about some of those ingredients. So looking at this particular design, right, this is a side view. When you look at it, that big knob at the top here is actually the way that we put it will fit your palm very comfortably. And the reason why we want to do that is because what I just mentioned, because you are going to use some kind of a gel together with this device as well. If you don't have this knob, if we use a flat design, our first design, if you will, there was a lot of slippage. In other words, it slides off your hand and so on. With this particular design, there's much less likelihood that you will lose your grip. So this is quite an interesting design that we came up with. Then second thing is to looking down here on this, what we would call the metallic nodes. These surfaces, as you can see, are very, very different from our previous devices, okay? And one of the reasons that we came out with this particular design is to really make sure that this device, when you use it and when you slide it across the skin, it is always going to be in contact with the skin, all right? Because you need that continuous contact with the skin to be able to leverage or to maximize the benefits that the microcurrent delivers to the skin and to the rest of the tissue inside. So this particular design is finally the one we came up with that can achieve that particular objective. All right. And then also the double nodes, as you see here, these double nodes, there are 4 of them at the bottom or on the surface of this device. It also offers a very efficient and effective massaging action physically, right? When you keep it in contact with the skin, this design also helps you to massage the muscle all at the same time. Now, I'll quickly mention, I think, on this particular device, this is a smart device. We have put inside, which you can't see, inside the device, many sensors that will sense how you're using the particular device on the skin. Whether you're losing contact or whether you are always in contact with the skin, once you lift it without you realizing it, the sensors will tell the microcurrent to go up in power. So, because there is a certain range that we have to maintain the microcurrent to deliver the benefits, okay, onto the skin and the rest of the tissue. So it's rather smart, and it can capture the data and so on. So overall, I think we have achieved a fairly effective engineering design device. So I already mentioned, really, when you look at these double nodes, these nodes on the cross section, it's very similar. Many of you, I think, for this particular audience, you can imagine, right? There's something that's called knuckle massage or acupressure or whatever. It's really what sort of prompted and inspired us to come up with this design, because we think this is really the most optimal design for for sort of massaging the skin and keeping it in contact. So when you look at the second thing about the microcurrent, what we want to do with this particular microcurrent, some of you may recall that with the galvanic spot is something to do with charge, positive, negative, 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 and so on, so that we can deliver ingredients into the skin. This microcurrent has nothing to do with those kinds of polarity, all right? It doesn't require any charge. This microcurrent, for intents and purposes, what it does is to sort of like make the skin a bit more permeable to the active ingredients that are found in the gel, all right? And it adjusts to your skin, and like I already mentioned, some of the things, some of the features of the microcurrent, so that you have the best delivery of those active ingredients into the tissue. And that is important later on when I tell you why. And the second thing is, even after using the device, right, and you take it off and you don't use it, your skin stays more responsive to other skin products too. So it's a sort of almost an additional benefit or a secondary benefit that you can get out of using this particular device. And as I mentioned, this current is unique. So what it does is, therefore, I've already mentioned most of the stuff. You know, there's the bottom. I just wanted to show you the 4 metallic placements or bars that we have on this device. And it stimulates as you move it across the skin. Once again now, I'm bringing you back to looking at the lymphatic system. It actually helps to stimulate the fluid movement, to get rid of it. You won't have so much swelling of the feet, and also the other benefits of the lymphatic system will kick in as you use this particular device regularly. And again, on the cellular-like appearance on the skin, I'll show you in some pictures where there was a significant reduction and the skin becomes smoother. So what are the products or the gels that we are launching together with this particular device? And there are 2. One is called the activating gel, and the other one is called the body serum. And we have put these active ingredients I'm talking about, they're really delivering these kind of benefits. First of all, the ingredients, when they go into the skin, it seems to give us, from our studies, it seems to give us a very good sense of well-being. And we sort of know from the scientific studies what that is due to. It's actually due to the release of a particular substance in the body. And it gives you a sense of really good relaxation, calming benefit, and so on. And that's what we call the natural well-being benefit. It also seems to be able to proliferate or make the lymphatic system wider by making this the formations of little vessels in the lymphatic network, so that the lymph can move out and get rid of all the toxins and waste products in the body even more effectively than before. And again, the final one, energy. I think you're beginning, as you use this, you're going to feel a sense of more energy in the cells and so on. And obviously the last one is it promotes skin health. So we have a body serum, and an activating gel that will accompany this device. So these are just some scientific data to show you how the skin has become more responsive to all these active ingredients. It can penetrate deeper, and this is even as long as after 6 hours of use. You can see the blue is after using the device. At every step, when we took some of the skin off, we can see much more ingredient found in those skin tissues than without using the device. So, what are the benefits? I think in general, I would summarize this. Each one of you will likely to get a benefit sort of that has been personalized for you. You know, if you, for example, feel that you like a better calming and relaxing benefit, and you have no cellulite, for example, you will get that. But if you have sort of like some cellulite that you want to get rid of, this device will help you do that as well. All right. So there are lots and lots of it. There's so many different types of benefits that you can get from this device. I've just summarized them under the 3 R's. Restore refers to the ability of the device to help you restore the body. You know, after all, when you purify it by getting rid of those waste products, you're restoring the body, right? The recover R refers to, actually, this is more something to do with your muscle and exercise recovery. So obviously, when you know that all athletes in general, when you have undergone some exercise and so on, they tend to go for some massage, right? This device can help you deliver those types of benefits. The recovery, help your body to recover quicker. It can also help you, if you use it before the exercise, is to warm up your muscle and be able to exercise efficiently. Then revitalize really refers to the skin benefits delivered by the device. So these 3 R's is sort of like an umbrella. They can really sort of tell you what sort of benefits you can get. They are not going to be all the same for everybody, but you will get some kind of benefit that is really, you can actually see it or feel it. So, and here just on this particular slide, I didn't want to go into it, but those are the specific type of benefits under the 3 R's. You know, notice when I say, you know, depulps the skin and then it helps to get you better sleep and stress. Obviously, that's great for restoring the body, right? Then revitalize, relating to the skin, cellulite, tightening of the skin, and tone you up and sculpt. It's really quite some of the benefits you can get on the skin. And then finally, recover pre and post workout. And it's really good. It can be used in the shower as well, in that sense. And I think it would be quite useful in the shower too. So it's quite waterproof. Let me see. All right. So I mentioned we put a lot of sensors inside the device. We have also connected the device to the Vera app. I'm assuming many of you, if not all of you, have heard about the Vera app. So there's another feature on it called the Wellspa icon that we'll put on the Vera app, and that will help you at the very beginning to learn how to use the device the best way. Because if you tend to focus on the legs, then there's one direction that you should be doing, and that is your direction should be upwards, right? Because you want the fluid to go up to your chest. So you should not be using the device, for example, by sliding the device down towards the feet. It should be away from your feet. So these are some of the coaching that you will get and the type of treatments. And you track how often you use it, you know, what are the best times, duration for the device to use. Because different areas of the body are likely to require a little bit different use of the device, you know, around the neck area, around the arms, and so on. And there are some business elements on this particular Vera Wellspa app as well that will remind you when you are running out of gel. So here are some of the before and after clinical studies we have done. I think you would agree with me. You can see dramatic changes after using the Wellspa. These are the arm studies. You can see they're much toner, they're more toned and sculpted after use of the Wellspa, and that is behind the thighs of these two individuals. This one has way more cellulite than the first individual, but in either case, you can see the right picture shows that Wellspa smooths out the skin very, very effectively. All right, so we're pretty excited. We've never, frankly, seen such dramatic improvement after using a particular device together with the gels. So to summarize all these things together, I think also, frankly, when I look at the previous devices that we have, the appeal is more towards the women, right? Because it's all about beauty and skin and so on. And men in general are somewhat less sort of prone to use those devices. But this one, I think the men should actually be using it way more than the women. And that's because of the recovery and the restoration of the body benefits you can get from the device. I think as they start to use this one on their muscle after exercise and so on, they're going to feel way better and have a much better exercise experience than anything else, you know. So I think this should appeal to all the men in the business or everybody else around the world as well. In fact, I would suggest that really that this is a device that should be in every gym bag around the world, you know, for the guys to keep it so that they have access to it very easily. So, all right. So this is just quickly summarizing. Very exciting device. It's about balance. I think its balance, you know, has been described in many ways, sort of around the world. For example, in Chinese, I would imagine this is about the qi. All right, this is about the yin and yang and so on and so forth. There's a more of a philosophical approach to well-being and wellness, and here we are just saying that it's restoring balance of the body through the device because it delivers on the 3 R's. All right. So it's pretty exciting. As I mentioned at the very beginning, when I look at it, I don't think this is a device that I think I've been thinking of over the last 20 years, but it's only recently where we have all the technology and all the science combined together that have been able to deliver the developments of this device. Okay, well, I better stop there before I go on, but hopefully you get an idea and a sense of what this device can do. Let me stop the share.